Good day, everyone. Today we discuss about the service entrance conductor and sizes and rating. So, makikita dito sa image na ito is buong connection para magka-electricity ang bahay. So, as you can see, may poste sa gilid, transformer. Yung transformer, yung nakakonekta siya sa tubo. Nakikita nyo yung tubo. Makikita dito yung service drop. Yung service drop is yung wire sa poste hanggang sa tubo. You know, yung may wire na connection niya. Pagkatapos doon, makikita dito, yung tubo pababa siya, papuntang metro. Ito yung metro na to, yung sukat, dito na makukuha kung ilan yung kuryente nyo sa bahay nyo. Pagbaba ng metro, dito na sa fuse. Diyan na yung mga papatayin kung yung ilaw, ganun. Diyan na lahat. So, yung kwan dito is, yung sa inductor, service entrance inductor is andito. Dito siya sa kwan. Sa may, itong tatlong wire na to. Sa taas ng, yan. Yung wire na yan. Andyan siya. So, ito yung kanina, yung tatlong wire. So, makikita nyo dyan, yung service entrance conductor is konektado siya, service drop. Yung service drop kanina, di ba yung connection na siya poste? Yung wire papuntang poste. Makikita dito is yung wire naka-V. Kaya naka-V yan, para yung pag umulan, yung tubig na pupunta is bababa dun sa gitna ng V. Hindi siya papasok sa loob. Makikita dito yung may cap pa para in case na maulanan, hindi siya papasok ulit. Kasi ito yung service mass, which is madidiscuss mamaya, yung kung anong klaseng tubo ang magagamit. So, number of service entrance conductor set. Each service drop, set of overhead service conductors, set of underground service conductors, or several lateral shall supply only one set of service entrance conductor. So, dito naman, each daw ay shall only one set of service entrance. Mapa set of underground service ba yan? Mapa lateral. Kailangan is isa lang, one set lang na service entrance conductor. Ito yung 5 set of service entrance conductor. Number 1 is a building shall be permitted to have one set of service entrance conductor for each service, as defined in number of service rod to each occupancy of group or occupancies. So sa number 1 is sa building. Yung building daw is permitted lang siya sa one set of service entrance conductor. Ang service pala is yung wire sa poste papunta sa metro sa bahay. Siya yung nagde-deliver ng electricity energy. Kailangan daw ay sa isang bahay, kailangan daw one set service lang ang entrance conductor. Number 2 naman is where 2 or 6 service disconnecting means in separate enclosure are grouped at one location and supply separate loads from one service drop or lateral in multiply occupancy building or group single detached building owned, managed, operated by person or entity. One set of service entrance conductor shall be permitted to supply each or several such as reserved equipment enclosure. So dito naman is, yung tinutukoy dito is yung tatlo na yung 2 to 6 service disconnecting. Meaning yung separate enclosure ay iisang grupo at nagsusupply siya ng separate loads from one service drop. Ito yung 2 or 6 yung metro. Pero nakakonekta lang siya sa isang service. Yung exception number 3 is single family dwelling unit. Yung dwelling unit is yung apartment. Ito na yung apartment. And a separate instructor shall be permitted to have one set service entrance conductor run to each from a single service drop or rattler. So, sa isang family na may separate structure, dapat ay may one set of service entrance conductor na nagra-run each service drop. Sa exception number 4 naman is a two-family dwelling or a multi-family dwelling shall be permitted to have one set of service entrance conductors installed to supply the circuit covered in branch circuits in building with more than one occupancy. So dito naman is permitted siya na may one set of service entrance conductor. Pero installed to supply circuit, covered lang siya sa isang building. Kumbaga sa isang bahay lang. Pero pag sa kabilang bahay na, kabilang multiple dwelling na, kailangan mo nang kumuha ulit ng service entrance conductor. Yung single, kailangan mo din ng mayroong single drop ka na naman ulit. Yung number 5 is one set of service entrance conductors connected to supply side of the normal service disconnecting means shall be permitted to supply each or several system covered by equipment connected to the supply side by the server. Yung one set of service entrance conductor is to supply sa side ng normal service disconnecting. Yung disconnecting is yung service disconnecting is yung group of device. Ito yung mga grupo ng metro. Nakikita ito lagi sa apartment. Is permitted na nagsusupply each. Basta covered siya ng building. Isa lang yung service niya.
Insulation of service entrance conductors. Now, service entrance conductors entering or on the exterior or buildings or other structures shall be insulated. Dito is makikita natin usually sa labas ng bahay or sa clear house wall dito, dinurugtong by tapping or splicing sa service drop from utility pole papuntang bahay. Then exception is a grounded conductor shall be permitted to uninsulated as following. Dito. Bare copper is may dalawang klaseng bare copper is may two classification. Meron siyang solid at stranded. Yung solid is siya puro siya na isang wire. Then yung stranded is maraming wire pero manipis siya. Yun. Then sa bare copper used in a raceway or part of a service cable assembly. Dito is ito yung grounded conductor. Ang gamit ng raceway o rigid steel conduit ay pinoprotektahan ang bare copper or mga wire na nakapaloob dito sa rigid steel conduit. Condition ang paglagay ng bare copper sa lupa. Then sa bare copper for direct burial without regard to soil condition where part of cable assembly identified from underground use. Dito is meron ding copper wire na pwedeng idirekta sa ilalim ng lupa na tinatawag na direct buried cable or tinatawag nilang DBS is na kind of transmission no electrical cable which is dinidesign upang gamitin sa ilalim ng lupa without any kind of extra covering or piping to protect it. Yan. Then sa aluminum or copper clad aluminum without individual insulation or covering where cable assembly or identified for underground use in raceway or for direct burial para pwedeng ilagay sa underground. Yan. Then sa bare conductors used in an auxiliary gutter is dito yung auxiliary gutter pwede siyang idaan sa kanal or gutter basta nakabaon siya sa lupa na at hindi mismo sa gutter. Yon. Then
good day everyone. Next yung minimum size and rating naman po ng ating gagamiting mga cable wires through the service entrance. So first, general service entrance conductors shall have an ampacity of not less than the maximum load to be served. So yung service entrance conductors natin, shall, sabi niya, pag sinabi dun sa PEC book natin na na shall, ito'y dapat na gawin or must do mandatory siya na yung have an ampacity not less than the maximum load to be served. So, sinasabi niya rito na yung ampacity natin is mas mataas siya kesa dun sa maximum load. Para yung feather protection ng ng service entrance natin is hindi mag short circuit, yung tinatawag nila pag usually na nangyayari yun kung mali-mali yung pinag-design dun sa system. Dapat yung dito is yung ampacity, yung ampere rating niya yan, yung ampacity is mas mataas kaysa dun sa load na nakalagay dun sa isang building, para yung lahat ng load na yun is kayang i-carry ng yung ampacity. So next, yung conductor shall be sized to carry not less than the largest. So example ko na lang dito yung lighting outlet natin, which is nakasize siya ng size 14. Na applicable siya para dun sa 15 ampere breaker na kayang-kaya niyang i-handle para hindi siya mag-short circuit. Kumbaga, yung size ng wire is applicable para dun sa size 15 ampere. Tsaka yung rin, yung convenience outlet. Nakasize din siya ng size 12. Size 12 na wire, American wire gauge. At yung kanyang ampere protection naman is 30 ampere. Na kung saan, applicable at standard yun na nakalagay dun sa PEC book natin as an electrical engineer. So, next one is the ampacity. Ampacity shall be determined from ampacities for conductors rated 0 volts to 2000 volts. So, dito naman sa ampacity, ito yung tinatawag natin na use ng mga conductors. Meron tayong iba't ibang klase ng conductors. So, yung conductors na ito ay applicable for some places at applicable siya for some temperature na kaya niyang i-handle. So, meron tayong TW na moisture resistant thermoplastic na nagko-consist lang siya ng 60 degrees Celsius. Yung kaya niyang i-handle na temperatura is 60 degrees Celsius. Na kung saan yung application naman nito is dry tsaka wet location. Mga designer ng electrical system, which is TW yung ginagamit nila for grounding, which is yung yung binabaon sa lupa na talagang applicable naman siya dahil dry and wet location nga siya. At hindi naman nag-exceed yung temperature doon sa ground ng 60 degrees Celsius kasi nasa Pilipinas naman tayo. Nagbabago-bago yung klima natin. So, next naman yung THW natin, which is moisture and heat resistant thermoplastic. Yun yung 75 degrees Celsius naman yung kaya niyang i-handle na init. Pwedeng-pwede siya sa residential houses din. At hindi naman ganong mahirap yung mga cooling system, mga ganon. Kung saan yung pag pinapasok na siya sa mga wristway. And then yung application nito is dry and wet location siya. Then yung THN, yun yung pinakamahal dun sa na classification ng wire, yung THN, which is 90 degrees Celsius siya. Na ginagamit yung THN sa mga high-rise building according sa namin, na pag-seminaran namin last time, na yung THN is good siya for pulling. Pag hinihila na kasi yung mga sinusuksok na nila yung mga wire, is hindi agad nababanat yung kumbaga double insulator kasi yung yung THN, which is mayroon siyang rubber tsaka meron pa siyang plastic. Very good sa durable niya. Sa mga bahay din, okay lang din naman siya THN, pero yung para sa akin is 90 degrees Celsius. Hindi naman gaano kainit yung building or residential na paglalagyan nito is pwede mo namang gumamit ng THW na applicable din siya. So, yung next is the maximum allowable current of busways shall be that value for which the busways has been listed or labeled. So, yung busway naman natin is sa panel board, mayroon siyang mayroon siyang bus bar tsaka mga busways. Ang pagkakalam ko yung maximum allowable current of busway ay depende yan sa unit. Depende yan sa breaker na naka-input doon sa bus bar. Yung mismong nagkukonikan ng ng circuit breaker. Usually yung ginagamit nila dun is copper. Then next, where the service entrance conductor supply continuous loads or any combination of non-continuous and continuous loads. The minimum service entrance conductor size shall have an allowable ampacity not less than sum of the non-continuous loads plus 125% of continuous load. So dito naman, yung sinasabi niya rito is continuous load tsaka non-continuous load. So ano nga ba yung continuous loads na sinasabi? So yung mga continuous loads na sinasabi dito is yung mga equipment or machines na nag-i-exceed siya na 3 oras. Basta nag-exceed yung isang system, matatawag siya na continuous loads. So, yung sinasabing continuous loads niya dito is yung may demand factor siya na 125%. So, yung ano nga ba yung mga continuous loads na sinasabi? So, example na natin yung lights, yung mga ilaw. Kasi tuwing gabi or sa mga araw, mga ibang continuous loads pa nga, yung saksakan, convenience ulit. Pwede rin siya mag-continuous load or non-continuous load. Depende doon sa outlet na ginagamit, which is pag manonood ka ng mga television, ganun. Siyempre, nag-exceed din siya ng 3 oras. Non-continuous load, ito naman yung mga machines or equipments or mga motors na hindi nag-exceed sa 3 oras yung paggamit. Example na natin yung washing machine. O hindi naman siya nag-exceed ng ilang oras. Kumbaga, 1 oras lang siya pag ginagamit or wala pang 1 oras. Then yung mga range, which is the microwave oven, yung mga ganon. Hindi naman umabot sa 3 hours, mga ganon. So, natatawag siya na non-continuous loads. Then, the minimum service entrance conductor size shall have an allowable ampacity. So yun, naka-indicate yung demand factor niya na 125% for continuous loads. So next, exception number 1, grounded conductors that are not connected to an overcurrent device shall be permitted to be sized at 100% of the sum of the continuous and non-continuous load. So sabi niya yung ground conductors daw na hindi konektado sa overcurrent device shall be permitted. So mandatory din siya na i-size yung at 100% yung kabuuan ng continuous tsaka non-continuous load. So yung ground conductors natin from service entrance, idadaan yan sa ground, which is mas malaki siya kaysa dun sa hotline tsaka neutral natin. Bali 3 wires yan. Application naman ni ground conductors, kaya may ground conductors tayo na tinatawag is for safety siya. For safety reason siya sa isang building or sa isang house. Kumbaga, example na lang natin is isang appliances nagkakaroon ng ground, which is yung ground dumadaloy lang sa katawan natin. At yung pag nakaapak ka sa sahig, which is yung ground, ginagawa kang daluyan ng kuryente. Kumbaga, nagiging conductor ka na din. Kasi kung walang ground yung isang bahay, prone siya dun sa sa electric shock na sinasabi, yung talagang wala siyang madadaanan na ground system, ground conduct, parang nag-close loop, yung parang ganun. Siyempre, dadaanan siya dun sa mismong hotline, sa saksakan, dun sa saksakan. Pag nag-ground ka dun, ikaw yung magsisilbing conductor, which is dadaluyan ka ng kuryente, papunta dun sa lupa, sa ground. Parang dun niya na ilalabas yung dumaloy na kuryente, parang ganun. Kaya kung minsan, nararamdaman natin nag-ground tayo ng yung mabilisan lang. Exception number 2. The sum of the non-continuous loads and the continuous load if the service entrance conductors terminate and an overcurrent device where both The overcurrent device and its assembly are listed for operated at 100% of their rating shall be permitted. So ito naman yung kabuuan din ng non-continuous load tsaka continuous load. Kung yung service entrance niya daw is nag-terminate and an overcurrent device, so yung both ng non-continuous tsaka continuous load, yung overcurrent device nila are listed for operated. Yung next one is the minimum service entrance conductors. Size shall be have an ampacity not less than the maximum load to be served after the application of any adjustment or correction factors. So sa paggawa naman nito, yung service entrance natin, mayroon siyang correction factors. So yung ampacity is hindi daw mas mababa dun sa maximum load. So yung nangyayari dito is kailangan mas mataas pa rin yung ampacity kumpara dun sa mga maximum load na nakalagay dun sa isang bahay or sa isang kabuuang panel. Kasi dito rin yung nararanasan natin yung pag mas mababa yung ampacity than the maximum load is nagkakaroon ng fault, which is yung electrical fault system niya, which is nagkakaroon ng short circuit, overload, mga ganun. And then napakaganda na mas yung mga wire is very applicable sa mga ginagamit na breaker. Kasi doon pa lang pag nagkaroon ng fault doon sa wire, ang unang-unang magti-trip diyan yung breaker. So yung the minimum service entrance conductors size shall have an ampacity not less than the maximum load to be served after the application of any adjustment or correction factors. So sa madaling salita, yung ampacity is not hindi siya mas mababa kaysa doon sa maximum load. Kumbaga, yung maximum load, makiri niya, ay dapat yung ampacity natin is makiri niya yung total maximum load na is served after the application or any adjustment or correction factors. So next one is specific installation. In addition to the requirements of general. So in general siya, yung requirements in general. Then the minimum ampacity for undergrounded conductors for specific installation. So ito naman yung specific installation niya shall not be less than the rating. O sabi niya yung underground conductors natin is naka-specific lang siya. Kumbaga hindi siya specific. Yung saklaw nito is direct to the point dun sa isang bagay. Kumbaga example natin yung moisture thermoplastic na resistant, which is the TW. Yung application nito is from dry and wet location na applicable siya dun sa underground system or underground conductors natin na meron siyang rating na 60 degrees Celsius, which is yung temperature rating niyan. Then the service disconnecting means specified one circuit installation. Tinatawag siya na one circuit installation. Next one is the grounded conductors. The grounded conductor shall not be smaller than the minimum size as required by grounded conductor brought to service equipment. So yung grounded conductor natin is hindi siya mas mababa dun sa minimum size na service equipment. So, yung example natin, equipment mo is microwave oven, ganun. So, yung grounded conductor niya, hindi dapat mas mababa kaysa doon sa minimum size ng microwave oven na protection niya. Hindi siya mas mababa doon sa grounded conductor ng isang service equipment gaya ng microwave oven. Kumbaga, para ma-enhance niya or ma-protection niya yung isang tao through dun sa grounding system niya is kailangan yung gagamitin dito is not smaller than the minimum size of grounded conductor. So yung next, ito yung ating service entrance conductor size and rating. So first one is the service or failure rating. So nandito yung mga 100 amperes, 125 amperes, 150 amperes, 200 amperes. So yung copper conductor natin, so yung copper conductor is the best, which is maganda siya na wire conductor. Dahil nasa Pilipinas naman tayo, is mas pipiliin nila yung mas mura na applicable namang gamitin. Yung ginagamit dun sa loob ng bahay is copper conductor. At yung sa mga naman, sa mga poste, mga ganyan, yung papasok sa bahay na mga service feeder, is yung ginagamit nila is aluminum. Bakit nga ba aluminum yung ginagamit nila? Kasi yung copper, mas mainit sa mata yan ng mga tao. Kasi kahit na bawal, meron pa rin magtatangkang kunin yung mga wire na ito. Kaya yung per kilo nito is mas mataas talaga kumpara dun sa aluminum. So yung aluminum naman natin, aluminum na wire, is meron siyang steel. Maliit steel core dun sa loob niya to handle yung handle niya yung strength ng wire. Para pag sinabit siya sa poste through the building or house, hindi siya basta-basta magluloy-loy. Parang yung magbe-bend siya na nakalaylay. Parang ganun. Kaya meron siyang steel dun sa loob to prevent yung paglaylay niya. Then ito yung aluminum or copper clad aluminum. So ito yung 1 1/4 inch. Sa paglagay naman ng piping or conduit dun sa sa service entrance, mas pinaka-applicable yung rigid steel conduit. Bukod sa pangmatagalan, bakal siya at okay dun sa building, kahit na okay siya dun sa isang building na input kasi bakal nga siya. Kaya nga yung some instances lang na problema nito is kalawangin siya. So kinakalawang siya, siyempre pag nauulanan ganun, applicable siya yung paggamit ng RSC. At huwag po kayong gagamit ng mga PVC, yung mga plastic na kasi hindi yan magtatagal. Baka mas lalo pang magka-aberya o magkaroon ng sunog. So, yun yung service entrance conductor size and rating natin. So, yung reference namin is via Google. Nag-search kami dun sa Google about dun sa mga pictures ng service entrance conductors in pictures. Then dun sa Philippine Electrical Code, 2017 book, na kung saan namin kinuha yung mga nilagay namin dito na report. So, yun, thank you for listening us. We hope na meron kayong natutunan din sa aming report.